something rare is about to happen in the sky, and most people have absolutely no idea what's coming. This isn't just another planetary alignment. This isn't just some cosmic event that passes quietly. But here's the thing, this energy is already affecting you right now, and if you've been feeling an overwhelming pull towards someone, or if you've caught yourself daydreaming about a life that feels almost too perfect to be real, keep watching. Because there's one specific reason why this is happening to you at this exact moment, and I'll reveal it later in this video. So stay tuned. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and magnetic attraction, is traveling through the final, most powerful degrees of Pisces. And tomorrow morning, at precisely 6:27, Venus will cross into Aries and immediately collide with Neptune, the planet of dreams, spiritual union, and divine longing. This conjunction, this cosmic merger, is what astrologers are calling the most potent manifestation portal for love and relationships we'll see all year. And what makes this even more intense? It's happening at 0 degrees Aries, the absolute beginning of the zodiac wheel, the world point, the place where new realities are born. But most people won't be ready for it. They'll feel the energy, they'll sense something shifting, but they won't understand what's actually happening. And that's where you're different, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to navigate this portal, especially if you're one of the 3 zodiac signs about to experience the most intense soulmate magnetism of your life. The purge is already happening, and you're feeling it. Let me ask you something. Have things felt off lately? Maybe you've been unusually emotional. Maybe old relationship wounds have been surfacing out of nowhere. Maybe you've been feeling this strange urge to clean house, literally decluttering your space or figuratively cutting ties with people who drain your energy. If you've been experiencing any of this, you're not losing your mind. You're being purged. And here's what nobody is telling you. The universe cannot pour new wine into a contaminated vessel. Just 4 days ago, on March 3rd, we experienced a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Eclipses are the cosmos's way of forcing rapid, unavoidable course correction. And this particular eclipse? It was designed to violently but necessarily remove everything that's been keeping you small. The Virgo eclipse ripped through your daily routines, your toxic self-criticism, your patterns of settling for less than you deserve. It exposed the unequal dynamics in your relationships. It showed you where you've been playing small, where you've been accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. This wasn't random, this was preparation, because you cannot attract your dream life, you cannot magnetize a high-vibration soulmate connection while your energetic field is still cluttered with the debris of misaligned relationships and self-sabotaging narratives. Think about it. Have you suddenly walked away from something this week that you would have tolerated before? Have you felt a sudden clarity about what you will and won't accept anymore? That's the eclipse doing its work. That's the purge clearing space for what's about to arrive. And what's about to arrive tomorrow, it's bigger than most people realize. This isn't your typical Venus-Neptune conjunction. Normally, when Venus meets Neptune, the energy is soft, dreamy, even passive. It's about getting lost in fantasy, escaping into romantic daydreams, and floating in the realm of imagination. And yes, there's beauty in that. But there's also danger. The danger of idealizing someone who doesn't exist, of falling in love with potential instead of reality, of drowning in illusion. But tomorrow's conjunction, it's different, radically different, because this Venus-Neptune merger is happening in Aries, and Aries doesn't do passive, Aries doesn't wait, Aries doesn't dream from a distance, Aries acts. Aries is the warrior, the pioneer, the sign that refuses to ask for permission, its cardinal fire, the spark that ignites everything. So when the ethereal, boundary-dissolving waters of Neptune and the magnetic pull of Venus get plunged into the initiatory fires of Aries, something incredible happens. The energy doesn't dissipate into fantasy, it ignites. What this means for you is that the visions you're receiving, the desires rising in your heart, the connections you're being drawn toward, they're not meant to stay in your imagination. They're meant to be embodied. They're meant to be pursued. They're meant to become real. This is inspired desire meets sacred action. This is the universe handing you the dream and then demanding that you have the courage to chase it. And here's where it gets even more intense. Just 26 minutes before Venus meets Neptune tomorrow morning, the Sun forms an exact conjunction with Mercury in Pisces. This is called a cazimi, a moment of supreme mental clarity, of sudden illumination, of direct downloads from the cosmos. So here's what's happening. Your mind gets clarified first by the Mercury cazimi. The confusion lifts, the mental fog clears. You suddenly know what you want, who you want, what your soul is calling for. And then, just minutes later, your heart gets blown wide open by Venus-Neptune. The barriers fall, the defenses dissolve. You become an absolute magnet. This is the sequence, this is the architecture of the portal. Mental clarity first, then heart activation. Truth first, then magnetism. And for 3 zodiac signs in particular, this isn't just a nice energy boost. This is a complete recalibration of their romantic reality. Aries, the rebirth of your magnetic identity. If you're an Aries, or if you have strong Aries placements, listen carefully. Tomorrow isn't just about attracting someone else. Tomorrow is about you completely transforming. This Venus-Neptune conjunction is happening in your sign, in your first house of identity, physical presence, and how the world perceives you. And what that means is that the dream life energy isn't happening around you, it's happening through you. For most of your life, you've led with strength, you've led with independence, you've been the warrior, the one who conquers, the one who doesn't need anyone. And there's power in that. But here's what's shifting. Neptune entered your sign on January 26th for a 14-year transit, and Neptune doesn't care about your armor. Neptune dissolves defenses. Neptune softens edges. Neptune asks you to be vulnerable. And tomorrow, when Venus, the planet of attraction, merges with Neptune in your sign, something profound happens. The soulmate magnetism you're experiencing isn't coming from your usual confidence or your warrior energy. It's coming from a place you're not used to showing, your softness. The people you're attracting right now, the connections that are forming, they're not drawn to the version of you that has it all together. They're drawn to the version of you that's willing to admit you don't have all the answers. They're drawn to your courage to be seen in your uncertainty. And here's the paradox. By surrendering your need to always be strong, you become more magnetic than you've ever been. The dream life for Aries during this portal isn't about conquest, it's about connection. It's about realizing that the most powerful thing you can do is allow yourself to be truly seen. And the people entering your life right now, they're the ones who can hold space for both your fire and your water. They're the ones who won't be intimidated by your strength, but will also cherish your vulnerability. But remember this, tomorrow's energy is just the opening, because on Sunday, March 8th, Venus meets Saturn in your sign. And Saturn asks the question that changes everything. Are you ready to build this? Pisces, reclaiming your worth. Pisces, this portal is happening in your second house, the house of self-worth, values, and what you believe you deserve, and that's not a coincidence. For how long have you given too much? For how long have you loved people for who they could be instead of who they actually are? For how long have you absorbed everyone else's emotions, everyone else's pain, convincing yourself that unconditional love means having no boundaries? That version of you, the one who sacrifices endlessly, is being rewritten. Because tomorrow, when your planetary ruler Neptune merges with Venus in the warrior sign of Aries, you're being given cosmic permission to weaponize your sensitivity. You're being shown that boundaries aren't walls, they're standards. The soulmate magnetism you're experiencing right now is directly proportional to how fiercely you're protecting your worth. And here's what's wild. The moment you stop settling, the moment you decide you're done with breadcrumbs, the moment you establish real, unshakable boundaries, that's when the right person shows up, because the universe doesn't reward sacrifice, it rewards alignment. And right now, with Mars, the planet of action and assertion, moving through your sign since March 2nd, you have the energy to actually enforce those boundaries. You're not just thinking about what you deserve anymore. You're demanding it. The mental clarity you're receiving from the Mercury Kazemi happening in your sign tomorrow morning, that's your soul giving you the script. That's you finally being able to articulate exactly what you want without apologizing for it. And when Venus hits Neptune hours later, that clarity transforms into magnetism. You become irresistible, not because you're trying to be, but because you finally stop trying to be anything other than authentically you. The dream life for Pisces isn't a fantasy you escape into anymore. It's a reality you feel worthy of receiving. Taurus, trusting the invisible path. Taurus, you're connected to this portal through your planetary ruler, Venus. Wherever Venus goes, you feel it deeply. And right now, Venus is on a journey that's asking you to trust something you can't see yet. This Venus-Neptune conjunction is happening in your 12th house, the house of the subconscious, hidden realms, spiritual closure, and what's operating behind the scenes. And what that means is that the soulmate magnetism you're experiencing isn't loud. It's not obvious. It's subtle. You might be having dreams about someone. You might be feeling a pull toward a person or situation that doesn't make logical sense. You might be experiencing synchronicities that feel too perfect to be random. Pay attention, because the 12th house is where destiny whispers before it arrives. Here's your challenge, Taurus. You're an earth sign. You need proof, you need tangibility, you need to see the plan before you trust it. But this portal is asking you to do something that goes against every instinct you have. It's asking you to have faith. The connections forming right now might not announce themselves with fireworks. They might show up as quiet moments, private conversations, chance encounters that feel fated but unexplainable. And with Uranus, the planet of sudden change and revolution, having transited your sign for years, you've already been pushed to embrace the unconventional. Your ideas about security, about what love should look like, about what makes a partnership viable, they've been completely dismantled. So when Venus sextiled Uranus on March 4th, it activated your willingness to experiment with new models of relationship. And now, as Venus meets Neptune, you're being shown a vision of love that transcends your usual practical requirements. The dream life for Taurus during this portal is about learning to trust the process without controlling the outcome. It's about surrendering your need to have everything figured out and allowing the universe to surprise you. And here's the beautiful part. When Venus enters your sign on March 30th, everything you've been trusting in the invisible realm will finally become tangible. The dream will have form, the vision will have structure, but you have to trust the journey first. The reality check, what happens on March 8th? Now I need to tell you something that most spiritual content creators won't mention because it's not as exciting as talking about soulmate magnetism and dream portals, but this is crucial. On Sunday morning, March 8th, just 27 hours after the Venus-Neptune conjunction, Venus moves forward and forms an exact conjunction with Saturn. Saturn is the planet of reality, responsibility, commitment, and time, and Saturn doesn't care about your romantic fantasies. Saturn asks, can this actually work in the real world? This is the moment of truth. This is where the Neptune rose-colored glasses come off, and you see the situation for what it actually is, not what you hoped it would be. And here's what this means. If the connection you formed during the March 7th portal was based on projection, on savior fantasies, on the idea of someone rather than the reality of them, Saturn will expose it immediately. The illusion will shatter, and it will hurt. But, and this is important, if the connection is real, if it's rooted in genuine soul recognition, if it's based on authentic compatibility and not just intoxicating chemistry, Saturn will do something incredible. Saturn will provide the blueprint. Saturn will show you how to build it. Saturn will give you the patience, the commitment, the structural integrity needed to turn the dream into something lasting. This is why this portal is so powerful, because it's not just about the high of attraction, it's about what you're willing to do with that attraction once the initial euphoria fades. Are you willing to have the difficult conversations? Are you willing to build something slowly? Are you willing to show up consistently even when the magic of the moment wears off? That's what Saturday gives you the vision, and Sunday asks if you're ready to build it. At the beginning, I told you that if you've been feeling an overwhelming pull towards someone or daydreaming about a life that feels too perfect to be real, there was a specific reason. And this is it. You're not imagining it. You're not making it up. You're tuning in. Because what's happening tomorrow isn't just a planetary alignment, it's a timeline shift. The historic Saturn-Neptune conjunction that occurred at 0° Aries in late February opened a portal that hasn't been open in centuries. It marked the birth of an entirely new paradigm. And what you're feeling, what you've been experiencing, what's been pulling at you, it's your soul recognizing that something massive is available right now that wasn't available before. The old rules of how relationships work, how love manifests, how soulmates find each other, they're being rewritten. And the people who are feeling this most intensely are the ones who are ready to step into this new paradigm. You're not crazy. You're activated. How to navigate this energy without losing yourself. Let me be very clear about something. This Venus-Neptune energy is intoxicating. It's overwhelming. It makes everything feel fated, divine, meant to be. And while there's truth in that, there's also danger. The shadow of Neptune is delusion. It's seeing what you want to see instead of what's actually there. It's ignoring red flags because the fantasy is too beautiful to let go of. So here's what you need to do. First, ground yourself. The Aries energy wants you to act fast, to leap, to commit immediately. But before you make any life-altering decisions, breathe. Give yourself space to process what you're feeling. Second, watch actions, not words. Neptune can make words sound like poetry, but Saturn, arriving just a day later, only cares about what someone actually does. Are they showing up? Are they being consistent? Or are they all promise and no follow-through? Third, trust your body. Your mind can be deceived, but your body always knows. If something feels off in your gut, even if everything looks perfect on the surface, listen to that. And finally, remember this. The dream life isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about becoming so complete in yourself that you attract someone who matches that frequency. The soulmate magnetism you're experiencing right now is a reflection of the work you've already done. The purging, the boundary setting, the choosing yourself. That's what created the space for this energy to find you. This is just the beginning. Tomorrow's portal is not an ending. It's a beginning. It's the first personal, emotional initiation into a much larger shift that's unfolding over the next several years. The interconnected self, the version of you that can be both fiercely independent and deeply connected, both sovereign and intimately bonded, that's what's being birthed right now. And the relationships that form under this energy, the connections that survive both the Neptune vision and the Saturn reality check, those are the ones that will reshape your entire life. Because this isn't about temporary romance. This is about destiny aligning with choice. This is about the universe presenting you with a possibility and then asking, are you brave enough to build it? The portal opens tomorrow. The vision arrives, the magnetism activates, and then the real work begins. But you're ready. You wouldn't be watching this right now if you weren't. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your